Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. All right, another thing that I wanted to talk about in terms of a Scheider is I really wanted to stress that it is a continuum and that watches can partake of some or all of those elements. Oftentimes in the comments section, people will bring up Tudor because Tudor used an ETA movement and is all of a sudden is it a Scheider? Am I forced to call it a Scheider? Again, I would say it's a continuum, and these days it's easy to forgive Tudor for that because they've become really collectible, and Tudor really is an exception in the sense that why is it an exception? It's connected to Rolex in a special way, and a lot of those old, Tudor subs sell for just as much, if not more, than many a genuine Rolex Submariner, like the one I have. So it really is a special sort of exception and an anomaly. But back in the day, was it? I mean, back in the day, when they came out, 10, 20 years ago, Tudors were Scheiders. No, hold on. They weren't Scheiders, but they participated in that one element. Number one, they didn't use their own movement, and that was not a cool thing back in the day. That's why you would want to go Rolex back in the day. Now, these days, it's cool because they've become collectible. And look, I'd love to have an old Tudor with a ETA. Would I call it a Scheider? Hell no. But back in the day, that wasn't a particularly good thing. That was a drawback, and that's why Tudors were probably a lot less than a Rolex. So, Is Tudor a Scheider? Well, absolutely not. Was it back in the day? Well, I mean, it did participate in that element of Scheiderdom, right? That use of an ETA movement, and that wasn't a plus back in the day. It's changed, right? It's changed, and now that's kind of it could be a draw to the brand because you wouldn't have to go through Rolex to have it serviced. But anyway, there are other, there are so many brands, and I don't really know the specifics, and I don't want to misstate facts about this brand or that brand, but there are some brands that you might think is it a Scheider, and that's what the metric is for. How many of those 5 Sens, how many of those 5 does it check off? If it's just one, like Tudor, well, you might be willing to forgive it. And look, that's another thing. I mean, it's a very subjective thing how willing you are to forgive a watch. Some blank pain. Okay, a case could be made that element number 3, it was purchased. It was sort of the rights and the name were purchased. It was reestablished, and that's not a good thing. That's just you might forgive it, and that's your call. But that's not something that's a positive. Do you totally forgive it? Well, that's your call. But again, it reeks of that sin number 3, and if you're really trying to be objective, you would have to say, yeah, that's not really something you might be so proud of in regards to that brand. There are brands that just tick off all those boxes, and Squalia is one of them. They just seem to be the archetype of the Scheider. Throw out some brands that you think may, participate in elements of Scheiderdom that you are willing to overlook. Tudor, I'm willing to overlook that, especially those old vintage ones. Other brands, well, I mean, blank paint is so expensive that, for that kind of price, I wouldn't want any of those elements of Scheiterdom, really. Again, I hate to be the Rolex fanboy, but Rolex is really special. I mean, it doesn't participate in any of that Scheiterdom, or does it? What about the Zenith? Ooh, that's an interesting one. That's probably a topic for another video. I mean, the Daytona. I mean, well, would you call an old Daytona with a Zenith movement a Scheiter? Oh, it's a black mark. They didn't have their own movement for a while. That's a interesting thought. I might have to make another video about that. But yeah, I will say that. Ooh, yeah. I mean, you hate to just give Rolex a pass because you like the brand. That was kind of unacceptable to use third-party movement. Did it get them into the chronograph market? Yes. Thank goodness they made their own movements. They, it might have been a business decision and to get in the market, but at least they sort of knew they were erring and made it right in time. So, well, no brand is perfect, I guess. Take care. See you next time.